Hey guys, uh, welcome to another video. um, Probably what's going on? Not much. It is the 8th 11th 2025. Got some sad news. This is probably my last video I'll be doing for YouTube, and it's because on the 13th of this month, YouTube will put in an AI system that will have an ID. Basically, the AI will sense if your ID is not registered to be 18. Well, I started my YouTube channel when I was 17, so 25. I got through half these 9 years of just doing what I could. Um, and I feels really supportive that you guys were at least there to at least be with me for a while, even if my videos aren't the best. I try. Um, and I'm gonna miss doing videos on YouTube. So I'm sorry if you guys are a little sad, but that's the reality. That's the reality we live in. AI takes over, and things that we used to love are gonna go. At least I try to do art. At least I try to do reviews. At least I try to do gaming. God, thank God I finished the GeForce Let's Play. Thank God that's done. But it's gonna be worth for nothing because channel will be gone. All my videos will be gone. I'll have to start fresh. And to be honest, I think I'm not gonna do that. So it has been fun. It's been a blast on here. Now 25, but like I said, I started my YouTube career when I was 17. So, and it's strictly the AI will detect if I'm 18 or was 18 or anything like that. But no, I was 17 years old when I started my YouTube channel. I was 17. Fuck. But anyways, um, so my last video for today, I thought that I would cover a movie that I just watched, and I'm not a big fan of the review I just saw for this movie because it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. I don't think it's I to me I really don't think this movie is a bad movie. It's the animation is a little it could have been better, but I don't think this is like a bad movie. And the chemistry of the characters are fine. They're actually they remind me of me and my dad because I don't know if you knew about this. My dad wasn't very supportive. Not to me at all. I mean, but every time I tried to like tell my dad I want us to do this and all this stuff, my dad would just we would do it, but it felt like he was with me all the time. Sometimes I would get in trouble and he would be so mad he would hit me. And it's not because he was abusive. No, it was just because he saw that what I was doing was wrong, and that's why wasn't really a good kid to him. I'm not saying I wasn't a good kid. I was decent. I was I had a I was a little troublesome a little bit, but I tried to do what I could. If I would go back to those memories, those that past of myself, I would love to change the past and just change all the times I've done stupid shit, but I just can't. My life is the way it is, and I just can't. Like if I look back at those memories and I'm just like, man, I was just a stupid kid back then. Like I did some weird shit and stuff I would never do now. Yeah, I do a couple weird stuff now, but not as outrageous as the ones that I did before. Like pee on the floor and get the dog, say the dog peed on the floor, but you know, I was a stupid kid. Say right now, I am a stupid kid when I was back in my day with my dad, and I just the only reason I was stupid was because I was just new to the world. I was new to this world. I didn't know what was right and wrong. My dad wasn't really supportive with me. He never really gave me pointers. He never really told me what I could do or what I could and can't do. He was just my dad, and it was just that there were sometimes he was with me and sometimes he wasn't, and that's why I feel like in this movie it connects with me. Like I don't know why, but I mean I like Lilo and Stitch. It will be my favorite film forever because it's Disney, but not that live action movie. No, that live action movie is crap. But the animated one, the one I'm wearing right now, that is the one I'll keep. But this one right here will be just like one of those movies where I'm like, I'll watch and I like it. And of course, I'll only watch it once. I'll probably watch it a couple of times in my life as I get older. But I just watched it just to see if I still liked it, and I do. I love the characters. They're okay characters, and at the time, this animation wasn't the greatest. It was already we were Disney was already doing this. This is a Disney film, if you're wondering. This is Disney. Anyways, this was a movie that was Disney's utter attempt at doing animated characters like animals and other stuff. I actually think this is actually their first attempt to do like a Zootopia film because it's very Zootopia feeling. Like there's animals, there's a town, there's a problem. But unlike in Zootopia, where it's a more about like a person wanting to, actually, it is kind of like that. Like Judy Hopps wants to be a police officer. She is out of her mind thinking that she's able to do stuff, but the world itself is saying you can't do this because you're just that small. But she tries to prove the world that she can. And what I like about that idea is that you actually have the character Nick Wilde, to actually help her with that goal as they try to solve a mystery in Zootopia that actually could be the crisis that could actually end Zootopia forever. So this movie is kind of like almost like a demo version of that, but with a smaller cast of characters, and that is people's worst. I say it's not the worst. It's by far the worst. The worst is The Wild. Like that movie is the worst that Disney has ever done. Well, I might be second guessing that because I haven't seen The Wild in a while, but I haven't seen The Wild in a while. But if you know what I'm talking about, The Wild is by far is for me the worst. The worst for Disney. That's the worst one that they've done. And but this movie is not. It's not even close to being the worst. I still keep this like a B plus because this is actually it's not a bad movie. There's a lot of good voice actors in this. The story is very it's a different story to the actual Fabe of this, but we're going to be talking about and reviewing the movie Walt Disney's Pictures Presents Chicken Little. Um, Let me just tell you a bit about the descriptions before we start. One of the funniest and most exhilarating movies in years. Experience a fantastic world of breathtaking action adventure in a Disney's hilarious new movie, Chicken Little. It's a perfect family film. Reeve Scott Mans of Across Hollywood. When the sky really is falling and the Sandy has flown the coop, who will rise to save the day? Together with his hysterical band of misfit friends, Chicken Little must hatch a plan to save the planet from alien invasion and prove that the world's biggest hero is a and prove the world that the world's biggest hero is a Chicken Little, bursting with laughter, music, and out of this world bonus features, including an alternated opening, uh, trivia game, and much more. This sensational DVD is truly something to cluck about. Okay, so now since you know the description of this movie and what we'll be talking about, let's get dive in. So the movie of Chicken Little, if you don't know the story of Chicken Little, it's a very somber story of like how um, it's more about like having the idea of you can't like the idea of everything in this world isn't like you shouldn't take this world for granted because things could happen and you need to be more smarter than that. That was the idea of Chicken Little. This movie is like we should always take a grain of salt for a little bit just to get your point down, but only to the point that actually makes sense to actually helping this world out. So the movie starts with Buck Cluck, his dad, just kind of describing how to play an intro for a movie, which is kind of funny. I like that a little bit. He does Once Upon a Time idea. Then he did the Lion King. He did like a Lion King parody. That was kind of funny. And then he did the try to do the book thing. And then he just didn't do that. And then he starts out with the actual day of basically Chicken Little. He rang the bell, the alarm bell, and it's caused the townspeople of Okies Oak, um, OK Oak, that's the actual like town's name, to go in a riot, and everything starts to be destroyed because he's yelling that take cover, uh, run for your lives, danger, and that's when he says the sky's falling. You know this that story of that, and he mistakenly is trying to show the world that there is something that he has seen, and now he basically became the runt in the litter of the town because the town does not believe him, and he becomes basically the worst of everyone in town. His dad, he's okay. Everyone thinks he's the worst dad. No, there are way worse dads than Buck Cluck, but he isn't the best dad either. He's like a middle slide. He's kind of like my dad. Like I said, my dad wasn't really he wasn't really not protective. My dad was very protective with me, but he wasn't really supportive with what I wanted to do in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. That's the idea. For Buckluck, it's like the same with my dad. But anyways, he makes up the story. Oh, it was just an acorn, son. It was just an acorn. And Chicken was like, no, 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 no. It wasn't an acorn. It was an actual like uh stop sign thing, but it wasn't like that. It was like a hologram thing. And I actually rule with him. I rule with Chicken Little at the point where I'm like, damn, his father doesn't give a shit. It's not that he gives a crap. It's just that his father is so delusional that he tries to create a better situation, but it kind of ends up being a bad situation in the process. So what ends up happening is that Chick Little becomes, like I said, he becomes so hilariously rock stock that the entire town decide to make fun of him, and then they still make fun of him to this, like a year later with a movie that they're making. Which I like the idea of, like, even still of like something that's happened, it's gone to the point of like they're the town wants to have rides with him all the time. He's just so they Chick Little has become so desperate to change the town. He's just desperate to do something right, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to do better. He wants to show this world that I can be better. I can do this. I can make things right. You just gotta you just give me you just got to give me a good chance to do it. And what I like about this movie is that it doesn't take that long for Chicken Little to do something bad again, but it wasn't his fault. It's more like he got bullied and then he did something in the movie that happened to cause a dilemma with his school and stuff. But his dad does try to do some family bonding. It's not as good as it could be, but I don't think it's not bad. The idea of his like his Chicken Little sees, because the principal says to his dad that or basically he says to his dad that you're a good baseball player, but your son isn't. Your son isn't like a baseball player. Your son is just not you. And Brian Hall really did make me mad a little bit because he brought up Halter Dragon with Stoic and Hiccup. That made no sense. I understand Hiccup and Stoic, very opposite characters to Buck Cluck and Chicken Little. But the idea in that is that Stoic doesn't believe in his son as much because he thinks he's just so full of himself to go and fight dragons that he doesn't understand how dangerous that is. That's the idea of that movie. It's more about like Stoic is way too he's defenseless to his son because he has to so that he's able to protect him from dragons. But with Buckluck, it's more like he is just trying to not protect his son, but just make like he said something like, "Don't give your don't." It's like don't get your hype your don't get your hides. It was called. He said something like, "Don't um." Don't get your hypes up. I think that was what it's called. Basically, what he's trying to tell his son is that don't try to do something that you're going to regret. More like um, it's the idea of like if you're going to do something in your life and then you're going to have like that point in your life where you're going to have the tension of doing something good, but in the process, was it worth it? Like the hypes of what you're wanting, you just gotta make sure you don't have too much of that hype as much as you should. It's the idea that if you're going to win something, don't expect to have other things to happen to you because you're not gonna get those things because you're just gonna have what you think. Basically, the idea of of what Buck Cluck is saying to his son is that if you're going to win, to have some um, validation to yourself. Never, please do not give your hypes up for that as well because if you go that point, you're just going to try to do more things that could end up having bad consequences. That's what he's trying to say to his son. Like it's very easy to you're it's good to be excited and be happy to do something, but never try to always think that is going to be all the time. That's never going to be all the time because you just got to make sure that you're doing um, better, but just don't think that you should do even better than what you were. Like it's the idea of like you win a race and you don't want to exert yourself like this is a good example. Like think of it like Lightning McQueen or like Chick Hicks from Cars, where Lightning McQueen's all full of himself. He wants to win that Piston Cup, but he wants to Piston Cup, but he wants to basically win because he just wants to do that. His dilemma is that he wants to be better in any car. Where Chick Hicks is just he just wants to win because he just wants the fame. He just wants everything. He just wants the glory. Where I guess Lightning McQueen does want that as well, but he's stubborn that he doesn't. It's stubborn. It's like he is stubborn, but he's also wanting to have something he wants more after he wins. So that's the idea of Buck Cluck's idea. Like it's his understanding here. You need to be reasonable of what you're going to be doing. That hopefully you don't pass the coop to do um, more after, because it's not going to work. You're just going to have to just lay low after you win, lay low for a while, and then you can do more, but never go up more, because if you do, you're just going to have problems. And if you think about it, he was actually kind of right, because Chicken Little goes and he does win the baseball game because he wants to impress his dad, and he does that. And by the half point of the movie, we get to see that he has some relationship with his dad a little bit, just a little bit. It's not as good. It's not as great as it should be, but it's a little bit. I like the idea of them trying to give some um, talkative like motion to his son, um, even though if it's not really like fail. You could have a parent that doesn't really show closure as much to the son or the kid because they're just having um, no luck. But you should always want to show that you care for them. That way, you have support of them. That's why they did a little scene of him trying to have a nice fun time with his son with the baseball invisible like game, and that was so I like that moment. It's very clear that like Buck Cluck does care. He cares in a way that it just doesn't seem like he that basically he cares for his son. It's just that it's never shown that he cares, but he does care. It's just like I said, it's never shown. But he knows he doesn't care, but he wants to at least show that he does care for his son a little bit more. But anyways, the Chicken Little goes and sees the sky, and then he notices there's something coming. He sees a bright light. Then he gets hit in the head, but this time this object is real, and it's actually a piece of an alien spaceship. I actually kind of like the idea of aliens in this movie that they come to Earth to collect acorns because it's the only place in the solar system that has acorns. The X's don't mean they destroyed plants. No, 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 no. I like the idea that the X's think they oh my god they killed planets. Then they circled our planet because it's gonna be destroyed. And the movie does have that same like feel that these aliens could be not trusted because we don't know. Of course, we have that little kid Kirby, and I like the idea of the kid accidentally come out of the spaceship because he's curious. He just wants to see who these people are, and that's it. He's curious. He's a kid. He's curious. He wants to see the world, and he sees the world, but he accidentally creates a bad thing because it happens to be his family's ship that they landed, and yeah. Um, but the idea of this movie is not about like the aliens. It's not about like the idea of you should always like I said take a grain of salt and then use it for your own bidding. It's more like it's all about Buck Cluck and his son trying to actually understand each other. And that's why I like there's a scene that I love that I really hope Brian Hall gets this now. and he understands why I'm frustrated why people don't understand the idea. Anyways, there's a scene in the movie where both Chicken Little and Buck Cluck are in this theater, and Chicken Little runs away from his dad because he says to his dad that you don't care about what I do because you're just so stubborn because you don't understand what I want. Like, there's a moment in the movie again where Buck Cluck is at the baseball place, and this is where like Chicken Little rang the bell again, but this time he's actually trying to tell the truth that there was an alien ship and now it's gone. And every time he tries to, but then when he tries to tell his dad, Dad, you have to believe me. This didn't happen, please. But his dad says, No, I don't believe you. It's more like it's not that he is stubborn to tell the say the truth. It's just that in all reality he doesn't know what to say. That's the idea that in that scene. It's more like you could tell the emotion in him. I could tell that when he says, "No, I don't believe you, son," and it's not because he is being a dick. It's because he actually doesn't know what to think. He doesn't know how to respond. He doesn't know how to communicate very well. And it's that moment where Chicken Little understands his son that his dad isn't really there for him as much. It's like that moment where a kid realizes that their only one parent that thought that they were rooting for doesn't really care about what they are rooting for at all. And that's why that one there's a scene where there's that excellent scene that happens in the movie where they're arguing in this theater because the aliens have broken up the sky and everything is now starting to actually collapse and things are starting to unravel because now Chicken Little was right and now they're in danger. But the idea in that scene where they're in the theater is that Chicken Little really just says to his father, "You're never there for me," and then he just says, "What?" He's like, "Dad, you are never there for me. You're never supportive with me. You never. Every time that I try it like to actually like say something that is the truth, you're just never with me. Like you're with me with baseball. That's great, but you're never with me with the acorn thing. The sky is falling. The idea I'm telling you about this kid alien thing. You're never with me, and I'm sick of it. I really am. Why? It's just that he I love that moment where he just says Chicken Little just says to his father like he's angry, and you can tell he's angry because he's just like he's a kid. He's trying to not show the emotion that he's angry, but he just blows out and just says, "Dad, God, fucking listen to me, and just open your eyes and at least tell me that you understand, that you trust me. Please. That's all I want." And his father finally has an actual shell. It actually breaks. He actually says, "I love you. I, I never meant to make you think that you needed to earn my trust. But I do love you, son." And your mother, Chloe, she had this thing that she knew exactly what to say. And I know that I have never been very supportive with you, son. I know that I've been a little distracted. And I know that I've never really helped you with any of your problems. But it wasn't because I was ignoring you, it's because I was trying to protect you. I was trying to not get you into trouble. But I guess my words weren't really valid. Like, his father finally understands that he's he is stubborn. He is not a great father, and he knows that. But he knows that he can be better if he tries to help his son now. That's why he says he that I love you, son, and I'll always protect you. I'll be supportive with you now for now on. Like I I love that scene. And it's just heartbreaking that Brian Hall doesn't get that. Like it does remind you of Hiccup and Stoic a little bit. But what I like about this scene a bit better is that it's all about the child telling telling the parent that you're never with me all the time. It's like if Timmy Turner finally like said to his mother and father, "You are never with me all the time when I need you. I'm your kid, not your slave. You're always doing other stuff all the time. I want you to actually be more supportive with me. And when things are wrong, like I'm telling you sometimes, like Vicky, for example, I would like to have your support, but you're never supportive with me." Like, that's literally what I'm getting with this movie. It's all about support. The idea of a kid that is having the dilemma of trying to like say something that is in danger. That stuff is in danger. That we're in danger. And if you can't help that, then you're not my son. You're not my father, and I'm not your son. But that's the idea of this movie. It's all about the support of a character to understand their own dilemmas, to actually find the heart to then break it so that way they're able to be supportive. Yes, he goes a little overhaul of like, oh no, I support my son, I support my son, I support my son. I understand that. But it's just so that way Chicken Little understands now, his father understands the pain that he's caused. The pain that he's caused for his son. And that's why he has that big argument with him, because he has to break that seal. He has to tell his father, "You need to listen to me." But you don't. You make up excuses, and it makes me mad. It makes me angry. It makes me not your son. I would like it if Chicken Little did say like, "Am I your son or not?" Like that's what I would. The movie's all about like Chicken Little knowing that the world is now in danger and he has to find a way to stop it. But he also has to have support to his father. That way his father knows that there is something happening in this world that you need to get your ass out and actually know that this is the right thing that we need to do. We need to save this town, because if we don't, this town's gone. You have to be my support. I don't want to be your slave all the time. I don't want to be your person, your bodyguard all the time. I don't want to be the person that's always getting in trouble all the time. I want you to be there for me. And that's literally what the movie's all about. It's all about Chicken Little wanting support for his dad, and his dad doesn't really support him as much. But it's all about the idea of him trying to get that support, and it is hard to get it as a kid. It's actually hard to get it as anyone. Growing up, when you have a very bad father, it's hard to have someone that doesn't care for the actual person, because if you don't care for them, then you don't belong in this world. That's the idea. The physical idea of a character having the feeling of, I need to be more supportive of my son, because if I'm not, then I'm not his father. And that's heartbreaking that he now has to understand that this is something that we both have to go and we both have to solve. We both have to get out of our lives and actually do something so that way we can actually save this place. The town of Okie Oaks, yes, it's a little bit rude for some of the time of the when Chicken Little does mess up. But it's not because the world itself is telling him you are stupid. It's more like the world isn't really, it's not seeing the big picture. It's just seeing little bits. When Chicken Little's dad does that little like tease and then tries to like help that situation, it just basically it breaks more of that bond to the Chicken Little and the folks in this town. And that's because they're so blinded about the idea of this one character doing something that has caused everyone to not like that one person. But it's not. It is taken a little bit over exaggerated. I would have to say yes. Yeah, it's exaggerated a bit more than it should be, but it's not exaggerated to a point where it's like irritating to a point that I don't get it. I actually understand that. It's having like someone telling the truth, but they did it in a way that sounds unlike the truth, but then it is, but then you do it again, and then it just kind of, it just creates that problem that just makes everyone not like you. Because it actually happens in life. It happens to everyone. You're gonna have a day where you do something kind of stupid, and then you're gonna try to make up a lie, and it's just gonna build that lie, and it's just gonna make people not like you. It's not gonna, and people are not gonna trust you. And that's all about the idea of someone having a support with your beliefs. Because if you don't have that support, then you're just a person that is making fun of the entire town. Um, Even if you do have a sliver of hope of your existence, you should always have that, because you never know, because things are gonna have consequences that are just gonna happen. Things that are around our life, the way that we do, the way we are acting at this point, are all gonna be different. Chicken Little understands that. It understands the idea of we just have our own idea of thinking. The reason why people are on their phones all the time, they're not thinking about the real situation. Um, it's all about the internet. It's all about the computers. It's all about the videos that we watch. But we don't really understand the picture. We don't understand the idea of someone's problem. Of like, Chickalo has that problem of like he's trying to tell everyone the sky's falling, but this time it's for real for the aliens to come and destroy OK Oaks. But could but even knowing that they now know, it's literally too late. So at this point, Chickalilla has to save this world from danger. With now his support with his dad, he's finally guided through his thick skull or thick coop that he's able to uh, save the son of Kirby and bring it to the family. After doing so, they at first it looks like they got vaporized. Like it looks like the aliens can vaporize characters, but no, they just teleported them into like a weird like place where they're just suspended in like gravity. And the Chicken Little's father tries to stand up for his dad, his son, in that moment where the big alien says, "Why did you take our son?" And it's like the Chicken Little's butt cluck is like, "Easy, pal. Easy, pal. We didn't take your son. He just wandered off. You should have been more better with your parenting more." And I like that where he says to the alien, "Yeah, you left your son here to wander around. Of course he's gonna run away because he doesn't know what this world is. Of course he's gonna do that. So that was bad parenting for you because you weren't there and you weren't looking around. You literally left your fucking ship just to go and find acorns, and you left your ship there for your kid just to wander out." So yeah, bad parenting on that point. So I understand that situation. even though Buckluck is a bit like now a bit too supportive to his son, but I like this moment where he actually stands up and actually talks to the big alien about this, and then they do almost get killed because there's a bunch of weapons. But then the son, Kirby goes into a little hologram thing, and then the mother goes in there, and Kirby tells the father that everything is true, and then the mother tells the father to take put your voice, your deep voice module down. He's like, I don't want to, and then he's like, come on. He's like, fine, and then they come out and they basically are like little. They're like they remind me of the stars from the star aliens from Home, because in that movie the egg thing that like the O's have, these like these the boovs aliens have, the leader, the staff that they have, it's not a stone, it's an egg, and inside that egg has a bunch of larvae that are basically star like aliens for the next civilization for their kind. And that one dude that was going after them wasn't because he was trying to kill them, he was trying to get it back. Because if he didn't get it back, he's the last of their kind. He's the last of the kind their of their own civilization. So that's why he was so had a big armor. He was all like wanting to destroy and stuff. But that's when like he basically gives him the egg back and basically does a good job at doing the right thing. I do like that moment for that. And the reason why I just brought that up because the aliens in the movie, they're like fluffy haired creatures with three eyes, and they have little toe feet, and they're kind of cute. Their alien like robotic metal armor like things look kind of cool. They almost look like viruses, like how viruses look like underneath the microscope, where they have the big head and they have the little fingerling legs. You know what cartoons have them looking like. Um, and they have the ability to like chop up like stuff with their things. It's not because they were it's misunderstood. Like there's a lot of this movie that's misunderstood. The idea of like, oh, these aliens are gonna attack us, they're gonna destroy our planet. No, they're there because they thought the son was kidnapped because of Ticklill and Buckluck. But then so that's why they send the armada, the big giant giant armada, basically the big fleet of them to Earth, and when it cracks, it looks like like the sky cracks, and then all the ships come out, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Chickadillo's right! Run to your lives! It's the end of the world!" So, but like they're only there because they're looking for their son. They're looking for the child because it's gone. But it's actually their fault because, like I said, they fucking like left their child literally like in the ship just to let Chick Little and the others go in there just to find Fishy. But after doing that, they left the son just kind of wandered off with them, and that's why they were misunderstood by that point because it wasn't that their son got kidnapped. It was because their son was stubborn to go and look around and see these characters and what they were. He didn't know who they were. So I just love that idea of like this movie's all about support and stubborn. The idea of having support for your son with things you need to understand and get your ass out of the gutter or coop to actually see what is the truth about the situation and actually be supportive of your son, and then the stubbornness of things that seem like misunderstood to the point that we all have to take a grain of salt and actually think for once, so that way we don't end up like idiots. Um, and the idea that they come every like they said, 10,000 every like once a year to go to Earth, and they always like to collect acorns because it's the best. It's the best place to eat them. And they only and they sit in their spaceship, and they have little bits. They have pieces that fall off their ship that look like octagons, and these octagon shapes fall off, and then they can camouflage when they hit the ground. So that's when the Patowns were like, oh, okay. So that's what was going on. Chicken Little was kind of right. Like, well, he was right that this guy wasn't really falling, but there was pieces falling off alien spaceships. I don't see why people don't like that idea. I think that's clever. It's ideally the I think right now we have a lot of things in our life that we don't understand, and once we understand, we kind of think, wow, that's really what it is. That we're okay. We don't have to be scared about that. It's like, then don't think this movie is shit because that the idea of like alien ships going to a different planet just to find something that actually would be very delicate to them to eat. Think that that's hostile to our the people on Earth in this world. Um, and even though Chicken Little had a bit of like the progression of trying to show the world that he is right and he needs to be more supportive for his dad, so his dad is supportive of him. It's all about the idea of wanting that one support that actually has to give you, even if you have to push the parent to the point they understand that there is stuff that you need to start thinking and not thinking before you uh, see it. And that's the lesson. It's all about supporting the character that has something that they know that is wrong, or knows that knows that not wrong, knows that it's right, that they need to have that support with their own family members. And that's why I think this movie is a good movie. The animation, yes, it's not great, but it's not bad. I still think it's I would say it's better than Shark Tale. Shark Tale, no, I don't like Shark Tale. I'm not a big fan of Shark Tale. I mean, if I do a review on Shark Tale, you'll probably not see that forever because my channel will be gone. But like I said, last video, so you get a summer moment with me with YouTube getting rid of my channel because I was 17 when I started. So I'm sorry to say, but this is the last video, and I'm kind of, it sucks because I was really wanting to do more gaming, more reviews, and more art streams and drawings. But but the day we live in is just the day we live in. Our world is just going with AI, and we're never gonna have like, you know, good things. I'm worried for other YouTubers at this point that maybe they'll have problems as well, like other YouTubers that were never were they made their video a long time ago and then it's just gonna be gone. So YouTube, you win. So the next time you see me will be never. So it was fun as it was fun as it lasted, but YouTube really did make this happen. So on the 13th, my channel will be gone. And I just hope everyone will enjoy what they saw and move on with their life, which I will do myself. I'll probably just draw when I'm bored and can't upload on YouTube, so I'll just upload onto like my DeviantArt so you can see them. So, anyways, this has been fun while it lasted, and I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss doing videos, but there is some hope if my channel is not taken away. that I'll continue. I'm just making this video now so that way you know the drill. Anyways. Crazy Zombie is out. Bye-bye.